Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. This show is brought to you by DraftKings Loaded Thursday edition coming up. Jeff Davis in 30 minutes from Circa Sports. He's in charge of their NHL numbers. We'll talk hockey with him. Nigel Seeley on the program, little soccer, maybe a little tennis with him at that point. Glenn Clark talking Ravens, Chiefs, and the maestro Mike Palma's in studio a little bit later on today. Well, this week is going to go down as big-time coaching changes or signings as the Bucs got Doc Rivers yesterday, making that in-season move, going from Adrian Griffin to Doc. And the bigger news would be in the NFL where maybe finally, Paulie, we can take the LA Chargers seriously for the first time in a long time, as they had to do what they had to do. No matter what, you could not let Jim Harbaugh take that second interview with Atlanta. He could not get out of the building. He could not go anywhere else. If he was going to leave Michigan as an organization, you had to be the one to lock him down, and they did. Mm-hmm. So congrats to them. And, you know, over the years, it feels like it's the same movie on a loop over and over and over again. When you're talking about preseason NFL and you're getting your predictions down and you go over this team, it's like, well, I kind of want to take them seriously. But then in the back of my brain, I'm like, I know how this is going to end, so I can't. And I think that can change with this guy finally. He's that good.
Yep, it's an A+, and I'm a hard grader. I didn't think Spanos had it in him. Number one, you had to do it to just get some interest going, that no one in that market cares about that team and organization. And so many home games, quote, home games, have been other fans taking over your stadium. And you have Anthony Lynn, Norv Turner, Staley, and now you get this guy who is one of the best coaches ever to do it at any level, and we'll run down his resume coming up. And as we talked about earlier in the week, most intriguing teams about what you do with the win total. I mean, they won 5 games, but he has a stud quarterback who's in his mid-20s, and rest assured he will make them tough, physical, and fix that defense, which was so bad as well, which 2 years ago I know they should have won a playoff game also. But it's a great move for the NFL and a move that the Chargers had to make. I'm pleasantly surprised they got it done, and that's an excellent move by Spanos and a good job by Harbaugh, who leaves Michigan on a high note and goes out on top, doesn't have to worry about the NC2A, and he always wanted to get back in the NFL. He danced with the Vikings. There were rumors about the Broncos, but he lands in Los Angeles. Good for him.
Yeah, how about the timing? He happens to come back against Alabama. What if he doesn't in that game? But then he's also facing all of these potential violations. He's like, yeah, time for me to bail. Good time, right? I will give this an A+ as well, even if it fails, because at least the Chargers made the move to get him. This is an atypical move from that organization. So at least they went out and said, okay, again, this has got to be our guy. What's it going to take? I can't wait to find out what the money is going to look like. I don't care if they gave the guy $20-25 million a year. Mm-hmm. At least they made it happen. And if they talk to me in 5 years, if they're moving on and it didn't work, fine. But he is the best coach on the market for any team in the NFL, and this team has desperately needed a guy like this for as long as I can remember.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. And I don't care if you want to say that's asinine, the Chiefs, Andy Reid. What he inherited in San Francisco, and then immediately to go to the NFC title game with Alex Smith.
Well, okay.
Every single stop, yep. He's done it. He's come in right away, taken over I wouldn't call this a horrible situation by any means, but he's come in with a bad organization or team and turned it around immediately and won big.
Early thoughts on what a projected win total might look like?
Tough division. What, 9.5? 8.5? 9?
It's one or the other. If they don't want to make it a flat 9, it's going to be between 8.5 and 9.5.
Okay. And we get the Harbaugh Bowl, too, which he plays his brother as well. But, you were there when this was going on. I can't believe the 49ers essentially chose Trent Baalke over him. And then one of the reasons he left San Francisco was Baalke, they didn't see eye to eye. And then after Harbaugh left San Francisco, right in the toilet with Tom Sula and Chip Kelly and how bad they were. And then they almost went 10 years without a winning record before he got there.
Right.
And then immediately wins and goes 44-19 with the Niners.
The year that he took over, their win total was 7.5. They won 13 games. The next year, their win total was 10. They won 11. The year after that, it was 11.5. They won 12. And, oh, by the way, that was, I need to remind people here, that was nearly back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl appearances because they were, when they beat Drew Brees and the Saints out at Candlestick, they went to the NFC title game that year. They were hosting the Giants. And I believe it was Kevin Williams who dropped a punt for the 49ers to give the Giants like the game-winning touchdown. That was a very low-scoring, defensive-minded game. They could have easily won that game. They went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Ravens. And, oh, by the way, they also played, this was with two different quarterbacks, Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. They were playing Seattle on the road, and it came down to the final pass of the game when Kaepernick got that ball tipped by Sherman. Mm-hmm. It's picked off, and then he goes right over to Aaron Andrews and has one of the best sound bites in the history of football.
Yep.
Afterwards.
Yep.
The Legion of Boom, which was just, I mean, they hated each other, but that was almost back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. And I was actually, maybe I'm a little bit too close to I don't know what the story is because, like, I get it if you don't like the guy, but I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I'm talking to some Raiders fans in here. This is before the Pierce news. And I just thought in my mind, I'm like, clearly they want Jim Harbaugh as their next coach, right? And they're like, no, we don't want that guy. We'd rather have him. And it's like, what? You don't want Jim Harbaugh as your head coach? Look at the resume again.
Yeah.
As we just said in San Francisco, He won 83% of his games in San Diego, the college.
They had never won double-digit games. He did it in year 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Stanford, when he took over, they were 1-11 the previous year. He had a winning record by year 3. His final year was 12-1.
Yeah.
Also won as a 40-point dog against USC.
That's absolutely right.
Another one, yes.
So, and he recruited and he coached Andrew Luck, and they were an upset away from playing in a national title game one year. Again, 4 wins to 5 to 8 to 12. Every single stop, it got better. Look at what happened at Michigan. They were down in the dumps for a decade before he took over the job.
Yeah, Brady Hoke was bad.
Really, really bad.
Yep.
That program should never hit that rock bottom, that low point. And just won the national title, and that was back-to-back-to-back playoff appearances for the guy. He is, I'll be stunned if he doesn't get it to work. I'll be stunned.
Mm-hmm.
That good of a coach.
Yep. The other angle you have is what...
By the way, watch what happens to Michigan now.
What do you think? Moore's going to get the job.
Uh-huh.
You think it's going to be
it's not,
back to where they were?
They will not sustain the level that Harbaugh put him at.
Okay. The other angle is 3 of the 4 teams that made the college football playoff. Coaches left now. Saban retired, DeBoer left Washington, and Harbaugh's gone. And that never happens as well. The other angle is what happens if Belichick doesn't go to Atlanta? Is Belichick out of football this year? Because Boomer Esiason and others are reporting Ben Johnson's taking the Washington job. That's a lock. Quote, that's a lock. So now and it's wild how that should have been done, but you just see the front office doesn't want him, but Arthur Blank wants him. And can they work this out with Belichick? And if the front office wins out over Blank, Belichick's not coaching this year. I think Seattle's going to go Vrabel or someone like that, and then you're going to be looking around and like this is not happening for Belichick.
Yeah,
now.
For the musical chairs part of this offseason, I think he's going to not have a landing spot. And oh, by the way, the highest number that I saw on Atlanta grabbing Belichick as their next head coach was -$4. I don't think it's anywhere close to that big of a favorite anymore because there was some disagreement there in the front office.
Sure should have been done. Yeah.
Right. And now it's lingering around, might not happen. And then if that's the case, then he might be standing out in the cold by himself. I mean, this is incredible, though, when the 26-year BCS college football playoff era, there had never been an instance of a head coach leaving his job in the offseason after making either field. 3 out of the 4 this year.
Yeah.
Matt Fortuna with a great tweet.
Uh-huh.
Is this a one-off? I mean, we're going to 12 teams next year, so...
I think you're going to continue to see guys jump around, and maybe the top college coaches are going to leave and maybe take a shot at the NFL because of just what college football looks like now with free agency, NIL, portal. It's madness what's happened.
Right.
Saban was frustrated, and maybe Harbaugh too, but a lot of guys could be upset or just annoyed how the sport is entirely completely changed. But that could, but also what happens with Alabama now? I mean, guys have left and right now. They're losing people every week, even though Saban has an office there and was going to help DeBoer out. And I'm shocked the offensive guys won't stay. It's one thing if you want to be a defensive player and say, I love Saban, I'm not going to do it anymore, I'm going to go somewhere else. But you're going to put up ridiculous numbers with DeBoer's offense.
Yeah, I did see that one highly ranked prospect. He changed his mind. He's going to go back to Alabama. Ryan Williams at wide receiver. He changed his mind. He'll go back and play for DeBoer. But also think about this. We're going to go from 4 to 12.
Yeah.
So that's the talking point, right? It's going to turn into a narrative and looking at a guy's resume. Well, look at this. He's made the 12-team playoff 3 years in a row. There's no way he can stay at this school, fill in the blank. It's, he'll take his chances and go to a Power 5. And it doesn't have to be 3 in a row. It could be he made the playoff with a team that's in a group of 5 and they won 10 games and they got there. This guy's highly sought after now.
Yeah.
That could be the case. And it could also be, like you said, where they just don't want to do the NIL and the transfer stuff anymore. And if they have a chance at the NFL, then they're going to dip their toes there as well.
Yep. And I'm with you that this is going to work with Harbaugh. Other than Andrew Luck, how many great quarterbacks did he have? Or even above average? I mean, he was winning. Look at the quarterbacks he's had at all these stops, too.
Right.
I mean, Alex Smith was... They were shocked he was going to be the starting quarterback that year.
That's absolutely
and then
true.
He's the one guy who said, we have to get Kaepernick, and took him in the second round, and they were running the pistol, and no one could stop it.
Yep, it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Paulie's going to run down last night's betting action and win some, lose some, including preseason Super Bowl exacta odds with the 4 remaining teams this weekend. That's next here on VSiN.
Put the VSiN experts to work for you. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up, get your first year for $1.99. Promo code FTM. Access to everything on our brand new website. Daily best bets, the leaderboard, who has the hot hand, the betting splits, dog videos, and the upcoming Super Bowl betting guide with best bets and favorite prop bets. Promo code FTM. First year, $1.99, vsin.com/subscribe.
We'll hit soccer and a little tennis here as Nigel Seeley joins the program now. He's on X at Seeley_Nigel, premiersportsplays.com. And Nigel, good morning, lad. I caught a lot of your podcast, the tennis podcast that you and your co-host were doing last night, looking at the Australian Open. Here are some numbers that I wrote down from the podcast, which are just amazing to me. The last Australian Open semifinal underdog to win on the men's side was 2012. Only 2 underdogs have won in the last 28 matches in the Australian Open semis. And Joker has never lost in the semis, and he's only dropped 3 sets. Just bonkers. Having said that, do you give Sinner a chance?
I do give Sinner a chance. Good morning, guys. Thank you very much for listening. So, yes, I do give him a chance. I've been very fortunate over the last couple of years to be able to go and watch a lot of tennis. Go to different venues, some lovely venues all around the world watching tennis. And I've seen a lot of these players in action. And I've said for some time that Jannik Sinner is the player that I believe will be the undisputed number 1 on the men's game for years to come. I was ridiculed by it many times where people said Carlos Alcaraz would be better than Sinner, and I couldn't, But I thought that always that Sinner had the game to be the best player. He's very lean. He's quite pasty in his skin, his complexion. He struggles with his fitness conditions, which is a bit of a problem. But once he overcame that, I always thought he had the game to be the world number 1. He certainly showed at the end of last year that he's got the capabilities, and now he's got this kind of confidence and belief about him. The problem is standing at the opposite end of the court is the greatest player and probably one of the greatest competitors, not only in tennis but in sports, in history, in Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic does not know the word loss, doesn't know the word beat, doesn't know when to lose. When you think of someone who's been brought up in his life with bombs dropping around him in the Civil War, he knows what adversity means. So that's what you've got to overcome. So you've read the stats there, so you know exactly what the record that Sinner's got to overcome. But he has to take some positives from this match. Sinner has got an unbelievable, very good serve. His forehand is exceptional. His movement around the court's got a lot better. And there's a few things that are working in his favour. One of them is father time. Novak Djokovic cannot continue to do what he's been doing for the years. He's getting older, obviously, and his body doesn't show any signs of stopping down, but greats always do just suddenly hit the buffers and then they're over. And that time will come with Djokovic. It's happened with Federer. It's happening now, as we see with Nadal. And it will come with Federer, with Djokovic. So there is father time. The other thing he's got to take some confidence off. He played him 4 times last year and he beat him twice. So they played 4 matches in 2023, 2 wins apiece. He beat him at the Turin Championship over in Italy in his homeland. In the group stage, he had the opportunity to knock Novak Djokovic out of the tournament if he lost the match. He was essentially through. He could have knocked Djokovic out, but he played and won the match, which meant Djokovic got through because it was a group stage. They met in the final, and Djokovic beat him in the final. But Sinner was spent then. He was absolutely exhausted. And then he went and beat him at the Davis Cup, which not many people beat Djokovic at the Davis Cup. I can assure you that when he's playing for Serbia. So he's got big positives. He's beaten him twice in the last 3 matches. They were over the best of 3 sets, though. This is the best of 5 sets. The other thing that works in Sinner's favour is the weather. The weather tomorrow or this evening in stateside over in Melbourne. Melbourne could be ridiculously hot. It could be 100 Fahrenheit or it can be like high 60s. Tomorrow it's low 60s, rain around. That will suit the conditioning. That will suit Sinner. My fear for Sinner when he gets into a 4th or 5th set in really hot conditions, I've seen him happen in Miami in blistering heat against Medvedev and Alcaraz. He struggles with his conditioning. That will help him. I give him a chance. I give him a real chance, but he's got to get off fast. He's got to fly out the traps. I'm on all 3 of the finalists, apart from Novak Djokovic. I've opposed Novak Djokovic, and semi-finalists. I've opposed Novak Djokovic, but I do give Sinner a chance here. I think that he will take a set off Djokovic. Hopefully, it'll be the first set. I think the spread getting Sinner. I think he's plus 2.5 or 3.5, depending on where you shop around. I give Sinner a chance. I do think the games are cheap at 40.5. I think I'd go over 40.5. I think this is a 4-set, 5th set match. But Djokovic at the start of this tournament dropped sets against poor opposition. We've never seen that from Djokovic, and he was complaining of an injury. He plays a lot of mind games, Djokovic, but I do give Sinner a chance. I really do. I've bet him already at 16-1 to win the tournament. I bet him in November last year at 16-1 to win the Australian Open. I'm not going to do anything else. But if I was sitting here now, it's a big cheer for me, Sinner here. But if I was sitting here now looking for an angle, I'd probably bet Sinner on the handicap and I'd go over on the games at 40.5.
Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch Visa on the Sports Betting Network. Nigel Seeley, our guest. It's Seeley_Nigel on X. Tennis, golf, soccer with Nigel. How about Medvedev?
Well, this is a real interesting one. Both of these two have played an extremely lot of tennis. You've got to remember something. One thing about Sinner, he hasn't dropped the set yet in the tournament as well. So that's another huge thing for him. So he's played less court time than everybody. These two, Medvedev and Zverev, have played an awful lot of tennis. They're lots of 5-setters. Both their matches come through long matches. And it's basically going to be to see who holds out first. Zverev was dead on his feet against Alcaraz going into the 4th set. And he managed to recover and just about go over the line. I think if it went into a 5th set, he would struggle here. It's about who's fitter. If you look at their head-to-head record between the two, they've met 19 times before. Medvedev's won 12, Zverev's won 7. In the early part of the year, his career, Zverev got much the better. He won 6 of their first 7 matches. But at the latter stage, Medvedev has won 6 of the last 7 matches against Zverev. Medvedev usually beats Zverev, but this is the best edition of Zverev I've seen for a long time. He had a terrible injury at the US Open a few years ago. He's come back now. He's serving incredibly well. And I think this is another one that could destined to go long again. I've seen some sports books at 40.5, some other sports books at 41 on the total. I think 40.5 could be an angle here. But I think if you were looking for a wager, I think the first set could be tight here. If you look back through history in first sets of semi-finals in the men's singles at the Australian Open, in the last 30 semi-finals, there's been 30 tiebreaks. There's always been a tiebreak in one. Some of them there's been 2 or 3, but if you look statistically, 30 of the last semi-finals, 30 tiebreaks. First set with so much at stake, very evenly matched semi-finals. Nerves, people playing cautious. Set number 1. I think the over 10.5 games in this match here in first set, or over 12.5 to bet the tiebreak in set 1. I think there's been 4 tiebreaks in the last 9, 10 sort of semi-final first legs as well, which would be mathematically a lot better. You'll be getting a lot better price than the statistics. But I think these are very, very interesting tennis matches this evening. I do give whoever wins Djokovic Sinner a huge chance of winning. I think they'll be overwhelming favourite, because I think if Medvedev and Zverev goes long, which I expect it to, that'll be 3 to 4 5-set matches. Both of these are played, and then going into a final as well. I think their legs will be running on empty. So I'm looking forward to them both. But I think the angle would be to go over both matches on the total at 40.5 and play those props on set number 1 to be over 10.5 as well. But I do give Sinner a chance here. I really, really do. He's got to believe he can beat him. He had opportunities against Djokovic at Wimbledon. He had loads and loads of break points. He couldn't take them. But this is a different Sinner now. He has a belief around him. He has a confidence around him. And he knows he's destined for good things. And I think Djokovic is very slowly, very slightly, but just showing signs of a tiny, tiny decline.
The Premier League has the weekend off. They're back with a big card Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll talk to you then. Any lower leagues you like this weekend, soccer?
As you could imagine, it's all been tennis this week for me. So I haven't really looked in depth at a lot of them. There's about 6 or 7 I've got some eyes on, which I'm breaking down as I've been out this morning. I'm breaking them down now. But there's one bet I do like. It's Blackpool at home to Charlton in League One in England's lower league. Blackpool are closing in on the playoff position. They've got an excellent manager who was manager of the academy, the youth academy at Liverpool. They're 6 matches unbeaten in league in regular time. The only time they lost was against the Premier League side, Nottingham Forest, in the FA Cup in extra time. They've scored at least 2 goals in their last 6 matches, and they're scoring goals for fun. And they're up against a Charlton team in League One who are in turmoil. I actually bet Charlton to actually be promoted this year. I couldn't have got it more wrong. They're in absolutely disarray. They've sacked their manager. It's their second managerial sacking this season. They haven't won in 13 matches. Ooh. And if you look at their last 6 games, they've conceded 2 goals in their last 6 matches. They were really disappointed in midweek. They lost 3-2 at home to Northampton. After the match, they sacked their manager. They weren't happy with the performance. They also got a player sent off and got 2 players injured. So they're going to be without 3 key players, without a manager and 3 key players. And they travel to an informed Blackpool who are scoring goals and who have the playoffs in sight. I saw the price of -125 for Blackpool to beat Charlton. I think they're probably closer to -$2, many for me. I think there'll be a big move for Blackpool in here when the news of the injuries comes out, suspensions come out, and playing without a manager. You usually get a bit of a boost after a manager comes in, but until they get that manager, the uncertainty around the club is bad. Instead of going into the playoffs and promotion, they're looking at relegation. So Blackpool at home to Charlton, -125, you can get it. It's a great bet.
Love it. Phenomenal analysis as always. Follow him on X. He's at Sealy_Nigel, premiersportsplays.com. Great job today, mate. Let's hope Sinner gets her. That would be terrific.
Oh, can't wait. All the best, mate.
Thank you.
Enjoy the matches. There you go. Nigel Sealy. The numbers on Djokovic, awesome, but he had made a great case there, potentially for him to lose this match. Up next, Glenn Clark covers the Ravens in Baltimore. Mark Andrews, Marlon Humphrey, trending towards playing. How big of an impact can we expect from either player?
Omaha Steaks, you'll fall in love at first bite with their tender steaks, juicy burgers, air-chilled chicken, and more. You'll love every bite. It's Omaha Steaks guarantee. For a limited time, go to omahasteaks.com/VSiN. You get 4 free air-chilled boneless chicken breast and 4 free rich, juicy boneless pork chops with your order. Minimum purchase may apply. We love it. It's the best. omahasteaks.com/VSiN. Get there now.
AFC title game here. Ravens now a 4-point favorite at some shops, still 3.5 at others, against the Chiefs coming up on Sunday. And Glenn Clark joins the program. He covers the Ravens in Baltimore for PressBox Online and 105.7 The Fan. Glenn, thanks for the time today. Good morning. What is the electricity like in the city for the game?
No, it's pandemonium, Mitch, Pauly. I mean, this is the first time since the very first AFC Championship game that was ever contested in 1971 that the city of Baltimore has hosted a title game, which is kind of a weird anomaly, right? Like, they played in 4 of these things. They've just never hosted one, and it speaks the difficulty of the AFC North over the years, right? You've always had the Pittsburgh Steelers to contend with. So this is bonkers this week in Baltimore. Everybody is fired up. The ticket prices are through the roof. It's a really, really exciting week to be here.
Okay, I was watching the video yesterday, or multiple videos, pretty much showing the same thing. Mark Andrews did not play last week, same with Marlon Humphrey. They look pretty good to me. I'm guessing both guys are going to play. What kind of an impact do you think they're going to have on the game?
I think that'll be interesting, right? Because I don't know that you're going to give a full snap count to Mark Andrews in particular for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, it's kind of a dramatic return from injury in a quick amount of time, but also because, and I think we've talked about it before, Isaiah Likely has just been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that you feel like you have to force it with Mark Andrews. The other thing, I know there's been this sort of weird conversation about, hey, in Lamar Jackson's history, sometimes he's only seen Mark Andrews. Well, that was because for a few of those years, there was no one else to see in the Ravens offense. And that's not the case any longer. And he has spread the ball around pretty well. I don't think there's any concern about that. But I just think there's so much good there that they don't have to force the issue with Mark Andrews. And I would say sort of the same thing in the secondary. It's just crazy how deep this team is, guys. Brandon Stevens has been a godsend for this football team in one-on-one coverage. No one saw that coming. They were moving him to safety over the summer before they were forced to move him back to cornerback, and he's been phenomenal. Ronald Darby has been outstanding. I think that Marlon Humphrey could end up playing a little bit more slot. I think it frees up Kyle Hamilton to sort of take on more of the Travis Kelce challenge. So I think these are luxuries at this point, not necessarily necessities, which is crazy to say about these two particular players.
Are you surprised the spread opened 3.5? Depends where you shop, but because just they've been at their best against the best teams and blowing people out.
Paul, it's insane what they've done against good teams this year. For those that aren't aware, they've won 9 games against teams that finished with winning records by 2 touchdowns or more. It's insane. They've beaten 11 teams total that finished with winning records, including the Texans in the playoffs. They're on a heater unlike much of anything we've ever seen. So I'm not surprised, only because it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side. And you're still feeling that even in town. There's an incredible amount of faith in the Ravens and what they're doing and how they're playing, and they don't have weaknesses. But those guys are zombies on the other side. It's very difficult to kill them. We didn't think they were very good this year, and yet here they are once again in an AFC championship game. And I think that bettors are feeling the same thing. So I'm sure that some of the shops that reflected that you knew it was going to be tough for people to pick against the Chiefs. Give that number. It keeps it a little more even. But yes, on paper, the Ravens should be at least 4 points better than the Kansas City Chiefs. They got to go out and prove it in a situation where they've never proved it before.
Which matchups do you like for the Chiefs on offense against this Ravens defense? Are there any?
The only one I would particularly like is Isaiah Pacheco has been outstanding, and the one area where the Ravens have been vulnerable is against the run. So it's interesting. All the talk this week, of course, is Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson, and rightfully so. But my gut tells me there's also a lot of rain in the forecast this weekend in Baltimore. It's kind of gross outside today. I don't know if you can notice that outside my window. So I think that these teams are going to be looking to run, and that's the one area. When the Ravens have lost games this season to the Colts at home, Zach Moss had a very good day on the ground. The second half against the Browns were able to impose their will a little bit. Now, that's going back before the bye, and that's when the Ravens appeared to be wearing down a little bit. They have been fresh. They've played one game over the last month where they were really trying to win, and that was last week. They get the extra day. I don't think that they're as vulnerable at this point, but if I were the Chiefs, I think that would be the one area where I'd be trying to figure out if they're still vulnerable. So I do think the Chiefs try to keep this game on the ground as much as possible with Isaiah Pacheco in the early going and see if they can't wear that out a little bit.
Are you surprised at the doubters of Lamar Jackson? And two MVPs, and still, well, he's got to win this game. And it's got to be baffling, even going back to the summer when 3 teams immediately tweeted out, "We have no interest in the guy."
Right. I mean, I'm sure the Falcons are feeling really good about that
right?
decision right now. Like, God, imagine. Am I surprised by it? No, because we're just so used to it at this point. Like, it's such a different, we could get into an hour-long conversation about how no one's just willing to admit that they were wrong. For what it's worth, as good as Lamar Jackson was, and we all knew how good he was, and there was this, Lamar can't throw. That was nonsense. But what we've seen this season, I'll tell you that even I didn't know this was coming. This is a different level of Lamar Jackson. This is a guy that looks like an orchestra conductor. This is a guy that knows this is Peyton Manning that we're seeing. Oh, and by the way, he's also still capable of running. He is seeing the field, and the game has slowed down for him in a way that we have never seen here in Baltimore, and I think we have rarely seen in the modern era of quarterbacking. You have to watch. The numbers can't all define this. When you watch Lamar Jackson play, the way that he is seeing the play unfold and where everything is going and what the best idea is on each play is bonkers. I know a lot of it is the marriage with Todd Monken that has worked out phenomenally. Todd Monken hasn't tried to force anything as far as the system is concerned. Some of it, as we joked about earlier with Mark Andrews, is just having even capable wide receivers on the field to throw the ball to. The Ravens previously had no more than like 1 capable wide receiver on the field for Lamar Jackson. He's had 4 capable wide receivers, plus Mark Andrews, plus Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, there you go. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Glenn Clark, he covers the Ravens in Baltimore for PressBox Online and 105.7 The Fan. So having said that, I mean, as good as he's been, the Chiefs secondary is a total strength of that team. Tough to pass on them. They have great playmakers on that side of the ball. You can run on them. Do you think this is going to be a combination of, well, I mean, Jackson running the ball is not going to surprise anybody, but can we expect maybe Edwards and Hill to push their props and maybe go over what their rushing numbers are? I think we froze up with Glenn there for a second. Yep. Locked in.
A good question.
We'll try to get him back too. Did we? Okay. Yeah, he's lost right now.
Well, the weather. Tough. Right.
As he said, yeah. He also had, I hope we get him back here because he has a breakdown and a good bet for the game too, based on Baltimore's tendencies and something that we saw again last week against the Texans. So I think he's right. Again, it's Mahomes, so you can't get too nuts with the number. But, I mean, if this was any other team with a similar rating to Kansas City, I don't think Baltimore would have been 3 minus 120 on the opener. Do you know what I'm saying? If the quarterback was not named Patrick Mahomes, I think it would have been, the opener would have been 4.5, I think.
Yeah, everyone's aware of Mahomes' record as a dog and just how well he played against Buffalo. But you have to take into account all the guys that were injured, though, too. And this is a whole different animal to me, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he's right. I mean, this is going to be Detroit Part 2. The price to get in and just they're hungry. I mean, 1971. Think about that.
No, they haven't had this game at home.
Yes.
And so they've done a great job, by the way, in their history of going on the road and winning this game. And now, of course, the entire place is going to be juiced to the gills for this contest. Did you bet this game yet?
Well, I took 3.5 right away, but then I have the $30,000 future on the Ravens. But now I've changed my mind on the game now. I mean, I like the Ravens to win and cover. The more you dig in and look at the Chiefs just didn't have a good year this year. And they beat a bunch of nobodies the last 2 weeks in terms of the defense they went against, and Miami was a total fraud. We knew that. His pick, by the way, is third quarter.
Right.
We're not going to get him back with
no,
this.
It doesn't
We're
look
on
like
time.
it.
He likes third quarter and the adjustments McDonald has made coming out of halftime. And thinks that'll be the difference. And then also you have the great angle with the Chiefs. 18-1 to the under fourth quarter, 17-2 to the under second half this year.
Now, have you looked for that fourth quarter number already?
I think I saw.
Last week it was 14 against the Bills.
I think it was 13.5.
That's going to be right around that same number.
Yeah.
Well, think about what had to happen for that to stay under last week. But it got there.
Yeah, right.
You had to get, well, first of all, the fake punt, which didn't work, which gave the Chiefs great field position, which led to just a ridiculous play called the Hardman again at the goal line. He fumbles it, they get the touchback. And then the way Josh Allen closed the game.
There's also a prop. Both teams make a 33-yard field goal. And then I like the touchdown field goal each team, which was $1.85. But I think that also will come in. I also like no score first 5 minutes.
Hold on, what's the price on that both field goals?
Both. I think it's a small plus.
Boy, with those two
I'm not
kickers,
100%, but I'm not 100% on that. But I'll look during the break.
I mean, you can trust Tucker in a hurricane.
Oh no, both of them. Yes, no doubt.
And the Chiefs can't finish off drives.
Yes. I trust both kickers, but I got the GOAT with Tucker. But I'm fine with both guys, even if it's going to rain.
I will get into tonight's card and a trade that every team should make in the NBA coming up next year on VSiN.
Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Get your first year for $199. Promo code FTM. Access everything we do with the new website. Daily best bets, the leaderboard, who has the hot hand, the betting splits. Show you where the money and bets are moving for every game. Premium analysis, dog videos, the upcoming Super Bowl betting guide and March Madness. Props, picks, FTM. The code, first year, $199. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Thursdays with the Maestro, Mike Palm, VP here at Circa Resort and Casino. The 2-point spreads we have on the board here at this book and your properties across the city and in the states where you guys are located. You have the Chiefs now catching 4 against the Ravens, and we're holding steady on the Niners lane 7.
Still 7. I think the Deebo Samuel, news, it will only go down, right? Because if we find out he's not going to play it, I think it goes to 6, 6.5 for sure, maybe 6. And I don't think 4 is going back to 3.5. That stayed 2.5, and we took Baltimore money last week. Buffalo. We needed the Chiefs. So I I go back and forth on this first game, the AFC game. I mean, look, the Baltimore defense, I think, is the difference in the game. Sixth in scoring, first overall in points. They didn't allow Houston in the red zone, right? Not inside the 25. Just the punt return there. But it's Mahomes and it's Andy Reid. I mean, I go back and forth. I bet the Chiefs against the Bills. It's a bad number, 2.5, but it's Mahomes and it's Andy Reid. And I think Rashee Rice changes the dynamic of that team in that he has a receiver he can rely on. But this Baltimore defense is very good.
Very good. It's awesome.
It's very, very good. And they've been really dominant in home games. I mean, I know they lost to the Colts and that Tucker missed a field goal in that early in the year, and they lost in that game where they were up 14 and he threw the pick six, and Deshaun had the game of the year for Cleveland in that spot. But outside of the Rams game, they've just been really dominant. They killed Detroit in that game. So I probably won't have a play on this game. Two great kickers. You could argue the best two place kickers in the game. I'm surprised they gave up the punt return. Harbaugh's a special teams coach, but we'll see what happens there. I'll probably just watch it and hope it's a great game. They haven't 6 straight AFC title games and they haven't lost in regulation yet, right? Bet them on the 3-way.
Sure.
Draw no bet here.
Draw no bet.
90-minute draw no bet with the Chiefs.
I echo Mitt's sentiments about it's going to be I told you so, no matter what happens. If the Ravens win, it's like, well, they blow everybody out, all these good teams, and then the nine wins by 2 touchdowns or more. And if the Chiefs win, it's how can Mahomes be a dog and in 9-1 and all this. But this still I'm going to feel bad for Lamar Jackson if they lose too, because what people are going to say. And I mean, the guy won the Heisman Trophy and he's won 2 MVPs.
Yeah, and it's going to be all on him if they lose.
Yeah, absolutely. If they lose, it'll just be, see, told you so, Lamar Jackson.
I'd be on the OC. I'd be on the offensive court. I thought they were great. They made halftime adjustments. I didn't like the first half against Houston, their play calling. But they came out because all of a sudden Ryans wanted to blitz, where he went away from his tendency, and they got him short, and they scored every possession in the second half. Yep. They changed their game plan, which was good. But I think you need to be creative. I don't think you can just run the ball. They got rid of Greg Roman for a reason, right?
Yes.
And they got weapons around him for a reason. Let him throw the ball.
Let me ask you this now. Okay, when you go back and look, the last 3 playoff games for the Chiefs, Mahomes has been sacked a grand total of 0 times. He's thrown 0 INTs. They've scored a ton of points. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns. Last week against the Bills, Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones were held to 0 pressures on 38 combined pass rushes. Joe Thuney did a great job when he was one-on-one with Ed Oliver. Then you get the news yesterday, the pec injury, and it doesn't look good. Schefter, I mean, he was kind of like hedging his tweet here. One source said, unlikely to play. Another guy's like, he's going to try like crazy. Well, no kidding. It's the AFC title game. If he doesn't play, how big is this?
I think it's huge. This Baltimore now, Kansas City has been able to pick on the 2 teams, Miami and Buffalo, with depleted linebacking corps so far in the playoff. This is the opposite here with Baltimore, right? That's their strength. I think it's going to be tough for them. Look, they could play a great game and win. I think this will be a very good game. I don't think in any way Kansas City is going to blow them out. If Baltimore won by 10, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think this is a 1-possession game. I just probably don't want to get involved because on the side of history here, why would you have bet against Mahomes? That keeps going through my mind. The one thing I know, if we can transition to the NFC game and we can talk about the promotion, Derek's going again and taking a crew with him. I know this. Of the 2 games, I know one thing. The Lions can run the football. Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, they will be able. Their offensive line is better than the Packers. The Packers ran the football. The Packers controlled that game.
Very disappointing.
Shame on Matt LaFleur. They should have won that game 5 times over. I'm not saying the game plan was bad, but you're going to go quarterback sneak in the red zone. I mean, is that your strength? It's not your strength. Could have. And then so conservative in the second half. I mean, I thought Shanahan was giving you the game. I mean, Shanahan tightened up again. He got behind and he tightened up. And you had it there, but you didn't keep your foot on the gas pedal. Well, and then, of course, Carlson misses the kicks. So.
Which was completely predictable.
We had John Kuntz on primetime last week, and he said, I think they got a good shot to win. I said, how about when Anders Carlson misses a key kick? He says, that's the thing. He's missed 13 kicks this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fact that Aaron Jones only rushed the ball 18 times with what he was doing, and it was all, I mean, that's part of the game plan, right? You can beat San Francisco on the outside part, and he was gashing them every time he touched the ball. 18 carries. Come on.
I think Detroit can score points. We had Felica on yesterday. I like this team total over 20.5 for Detroit. I think it's going to be a good game. I'll take the 7 and think that they've got a puncher's chance of winning this thing.
I don't know if they can stop him, though. I don't think they can slow him down.
Well, I said, too. I said the 49ers would name their score against the Packers. Right? I bet over 29 and a half. I did. I lost the bet miserably.
Yeah.
Never had a shot.
This Detroit defense, though, can we get Samuel and will he be close to 100%? That's the big story. I mean, everyone talks about McCaffrey. This guy, they've lost one game. When he plays most of the game, they've lost once.
They have all these weapons, yet when one weapon goes out, they're all discombobulated,
Isn't that
right?
weird?
It's very strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but Paul, okay, they averaged 31 points a game with Debo. That's the bigger sample size. In the 3 games he's missed, they averaged 17. If I told you right now Debo doesn't play, are you taking the 7?
Yeah.
But it won't be available.
No, it won't be available once you find out.
You're betting on that hope that he's going to be limited or not play, because the number will be gone right away.
It's a double gamble is what it is.
I know a friend of ours did find, though, 18-1 on Ayuk to have the most receiving yards. I think the next couple games. I mean, to me, that's the play then, too.
There you go.
I mean, who's going to go off if he doesn't play?
You mean for the rest of the playoffs?
Yes. That's a bad number, but it's going to be him.
Well, it could be Kittle.
Well,
what's the game plan here if he doesn't play? I mean, you have to double Ayuk, right? Because it's been well documented here. Number 1 receivers just take a blowtorch to this defense. And tight ends are also very effective.
What's your level of concern with Purdy?
High. I think it's, I know they say no, and I just think you made a great point that resonated with me about he has no win here, right? He's got all the pressure on him. He hasn't gotten paid yet.
Right.
And then Michael Lombardi said to me later last Thursday, he said, think about it this way, Mike. If the 49ers lose, it's Purdy's fault. If they win, it's not his fault. It'll be Shanahan's game plan. It'll be McCaffrey running the ball. It'll be their defense.
Never get credit.
He can't get credit, but he'll get all the blame.
That's right. And they went
and
after.
He has a roommate, by the way.
Right. They went after Brady. They went after Cousins. They went after Rodgers. They danced with everybody. The fact that he came out with that story a week ago that Shanahan sips him down. Hey, we're going after Brady. He goes, okay, well, he's the GOAT. So if he doesn't play well and they lose, who's to say who the starting quarterback is next year? I still have my doubts about that. So there's a ton of pressure on this guy coming up on Sunday. And then can you imagine the madness, what it's going to be like here? For this game and the Super Bowl with the Detroit angle here, Derek going to the game, and you also have an incredible promotion.
How about the promotion that he's doing?
Someone can win. It's going to be, the drawing is Friday, I understand it?
Yeah, explain this.
Friday and Saturday. So we did all year for when teams play at the Raiders, we called them huddle-ups. So it's a pep rally on Friday nights for the visiting team. Obviously, remember the Jets had 300 people.
Yeah. It was a madhouse.
Huge for Packers. Pittsburgh Steelers had a big crowd. So we're doing it both nights, Friday, Saturday, and we're doing drawings, right? You win drinks, free play, blah, 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 blah. You get a ticket for showing up either or both nights, but you have to have Lions or 49ers gear on. That's one ticket. And then you get a ticket for every $100 you bet on a prop on the NFC Championship game. So Jeff Benson's folks will be giving them out here at Circa. The prop must be minus $2 or less, so you can't find some $6 prop, and bet 1,000 and get that. So the maximum number of tickets per person is 10. You can't have more than 10 tickets in the entry, and then we'll draw all these prizes. But the grand prize is you get to go with Derek on Sunday to the game, 2 tickets to the game and transportation. So if you're a Niners fan, the seats won't be with the rest of the group. I remember the 2012 World Series. A guy in the 6th seat at Long Bar was cheering for the San Francisco Giants. That didn't go well. That was my opening taste.
Oh, man.
Removed shortly after the... Was that the
Urged.
Panda Bear went deep 3 times in the game?
Yeah. You got it. You remember well.
Verlander, I think, got torched, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
they got swept.
Oh, that's right. They did. Oh, Derek must have been
got
just miserable,
swept.
huh? Yeah. You imagine if they win this, if they would win the whole thing. You just win this game, Dan Campbell there. Forget about
They
it.
got to be loose. I mean, they're playing with the house.
Absolutely.
The pressure was on them last week
Totally
when
agree.
Tampa Bay came in. Now they're loose.
Totally agree.
We'll get to in-pocket plays coming up next here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The guy has an algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, here we go. Sometimes the number's telling you something. Pistons were favored. Why? How could that be? 4 wins. Easy money, Mitch. They get there on a money line.
Yeah.
They take care of the Hornets. Another
simple.
winner.
Yeah, no
Another
doubt.
winner
No
with
doubt.
the Pistons.
I watched the game.
There
They
you
had
go.
it the entire time.
Yep. I mean, they had to get it, too. I mean, sometimes you have to think like the team. I mean, are they going to set this record for futility? Because if they couldn't beat Washington and Charlotte at home, how are they getting to 10 wins?
And I got news for you. Charlotte did not want to lose that game.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's going to tie in. I don't think any of these teams want to lose to Detroit.
Right. Absolutely. Good job by the Pistons. We got it home yesterday. KC Baltimore, will there be a 2-point attempt? Yes, plus 135. And again, I like this. Both teams, a touchdown and a field goal in both games. I think it was Bet Rivers. I can't remember. But it's a very popular or easy prop to find. Will both teams make a 33-yard field goal or longer in both games?
Okay.
But in the AFC game, I love that. But I just wanted to give some props and love to DraftKings. If you want to parlay this, it's 4-1. It's both games, though. Both teams. What do you have?
No, I'm just saying,
33-yard field goal.
where-
I can't remember the price, and I'm trying to find it, and I couldn't do it.
We'll put the Army on it then right now.
Yes, thank you. But I really like that prop because I'm with Palm. I love both kickers in the AFC game, but if you want to parlay both games, it's 4-1 at DraftKings. You are allowed to do that.
If you see that prop,
Yeah.
and you could send that to us on X, we would thank you in advance for that. At VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard,
I like that a lot.
at Mike Palm
The
Circa.
AFC.
Both teams to kick a 33-yard field goal plus money in
AFC.
that game. I would have to bet that.
In the AFC game, I'm with Palm. I don't know about Money Badger. Number one, I think Campbell's going to be very aggressive.
Do you know about Moody?
Well, I trust his leg in terms of distance.
The accuracy?
Well, he made a 52-yarder.
Okay, but the whole season in general?
Well, I think he'll make a 34 or longer field goal in the NFC title game. So
He's shaky with extra points.
Yeah.
No, but I get your point.
Okay.
We're expecting good weather, by the way, still.
Not in San Francisco. Not in Baltimore.
Not in Baltimore, in San Francisco.
Right.
Or
Also,
Santa Clara.
We got cut off with Glenn Clark. He's hammering the Ravens in the third quarter. They are allowing 2.25 points per game in the third quarter over the last 12 games. His breakdown was about McDonald making adjustments, and we lost him. So that was his play. He tweeted as well. Thank you, Glenn. Great numbers there with the Ravens defense and making the adjustments, and they've been awesome in the third quarter.
Well, especially if they're going to get the ball at halftime. Okay, top 20 bets that I made yesterday. Straka, Thigala, English, Hostler. Two of those I think I can draw a line through already. If I cash two, then it'll be great. English and Hostler are live. Thigala, boy. Straka, not good either so far. Maybe they can regroup today on day 2 of this event. We'll see. And look, I mean, I agree with Mike Palm. This is more of just grabbing the number because I think it's going to close at 4 at most spots. You can still find 3.5, plenty of spots on the Ravens. I said this right on Monday. My gut reaction was I got to bet the Ravens at 3 minus 20. That's half of me. The other half is saying, hey, dummy, you're betting against Patrick Mahomes. It's the Ravens are better. So I got to lay the 3.5. I think it does go up to 4, and that's part of the reason why I'm going to do this at this point.
The official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, DraftKings, and the new customers can bet $5 in any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the app now. Use code VSiN. Great job by Johnny Avello. They've had props up since Monday. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, code VSiN. The crown is yours. Mike Palm, everyone, great memory on people, and certainly it's a popular hour or 2 segments when you've been in for the last few years.
Or 2 segments. I did it one time.
Somebody's got a good memory. Somebody here doesn't have a good memory.
How about your story years ago with the Madonna concert? Now, have you called our friend Al Lasso? No justice, no peace. 2 people are suing because Madonna was 4 hours late that night?
I want to join the class.
Yes.
I still have emotional scars from. Well, we got there at 7. She took the stage at 1 a.m.
Yeah, queen is never late.
We were in the theater. First of all, they said the concert was 8. Then the day before, they moved it back to 9. Well, we already made our dinner reservation. Old Homestead, rest in peace.
Oh, good, yeah.
So good. Had 4 Horsemen. Lasted a long time. We made it. He's back, though. He's back here. Timmy Fitz is back.
We love Fitz.
Sunlight. We'll get him sunlight. Anyhow, so we get there. We ate dinner. We walked around. Now we go line up early, get in the theater 8:45. She's supposed to start at 9, so you figure she'll be on at 10, 10:15. There wasn't an opening act. There wasn't a comedian. There wasn't drummers. There wasn't anything. Nothing started till 12:15, and she came on 5 after 1 and said the Queen is never late. I was riling the people up. We're demanding a refund. Where is she? They kept out. She's in her dressing room. If she's not here, let us know so we can go on with our lives. It was a Thursday. It was a school night. I mean, it's not like it was a weekend night. People didn't have to be up.
How long did you stay?
35 minutes. I recognized nothing of what she played. It was all bashing Trump, and she's like one verse of "Papa Don't Preach." The only thing I told at the time the lady I said, let's go, my son's mother, let's get out of here. It was like 10 to 2. I said we can still get home by 2:30. It was outrageous.
I ran this by a buddy of mine, Doug Marsh. I won Last Man Standing with him back in 2006. He's also been to more concerts than anybody I've ever met my entire life.
Huh? Axl Rose? Did he have an Axl Rose incident?
Did he?
Oh, am I asking? Guns N' Roses were notorious for this.
No, I know. He said that he actually thinks that people might be onto something here. At some point,
you got a case.
At some point, you're as the performer here. When it says like 8 o'clock doors, 9 o'clock performance, or whatever, that's like kind of like your word, and it's almost like false advertising. So he's like, I don't know if they're going to win, but I'd like to hear it out.
She's been doing this for what, 6-7 years?
Forever.
With this nonsense of hers? 4 hours late every time? It's enough is enough.
I don't care who
I gotta
you
join
are.
the class. Sign me up.
There you go.
Sign me
Did
up.
you boo when you walked out?
I booed the whole time she was there.
Oh, you did?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, strong.
Well, everyone was booing. That's when she started with this Queen is never late. Everyone was booing. It was awful. And I had comp tickets, but there's got to be something. The tickets were $500, Paul. They started at $500.
Oh, that's outrageous.
The ticket on mine was $750. On the ticket was
and
the
she's
price.
5 hours late.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had a problem with somebody who got snubbed in the Baseball Hall of Fame this week?
Dustin Sweetelson, who was either under or misused on this show, comes up with these great questions with Amal and Patrick on Sharp Money, and we do a debate every Wednesday. Not like Amal ever really wins, but his question was, make a case for one of the folks that got snubbed for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame this year. So I sent it to you, for you and Paul,
right?
Because I thought it was an interesting exercise.
Okay, Bonds is the obvious choice.
But he wasn't snubbed this year. He's not eligible on that list.
So you want to dig a little bit deeper here.
I want somebody on that list that didn't get 75% of the vote.
A-Rod.
But it's a steroid argument, so I think that voids it. Let me make a case.
But if you're dominating still at the early stages of your career, go ahead.
Let me make a non-morality question person case for Mark Burley. All right? White Sox pitcher. 16-year Major League Baseball career, 214 and 160. Now, the average number of wins in the Hall of Fame is only 237. He was a 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, helped lead the Sox to the 2005 World Series championship. I want to talk about the categories he's in, and the categories he's in with certain people. Everybody else is in the Hall of Fame. Mark Burley pitched a perfect game against the Rays, and he also threw a no-hitter against Texas. He faced the minimum 27. He walked Sammy Sosa in the 5th, picked him off immediately, all right? There's only 7 people who have thrown both a perfect game and a no-hitter. Koufax, Cy Young, Roy Halladay, Randy Johnson, Jim Bunning, Addie Joss, and Burley. The other 6, all in the Hall of Fame. For 14 consecutive seasons to start his career, from 2001 to 2015, he pitched 200-plus innings every year. There's only been 6 other people to do that. Gaylord Perry, Don Sutton, Greg Maddux, Phil Niekro, Christy Mathewson, and Warren Spahn. The other 6, all in the Hall of Fame. Oh, by the way, during those 14 years, he pitched 243 1/3 more innings than the next closest person, who was CC Sabathia. So, in other words, he pitched a whole nother season more than anybody else that was in the league. In his 16-year season, you know how many stolen bases he allowed, Mitch Moss?
Oh, that's a great question.
In 16 seasons, how many stole? 30 starts a year, 500 starts. How many stole? 59.
Wow.
He picked off 102 runners. That's 4th all time. Only Steve Carlton, Mark Langston, and Andy Pettit have picked off more, and he got grounders 362 double plays. Only Maddux, Glavine, and Pettit have more. All the guys in all those categories in the Hall of Fame. I'm for Mark Burley getting in.
Okay, what percentage did he get?
This is his 4th year. He's up to 8%.
So he's never going to get in.
He's not going to
basically 8%.
I'm making the argument,
now.
though.
All right. I think Gary Sheffield has an argument.
I think he might make it. I mean, he's closer.
What he did in Milwaukee really hurts him, though. He made errors on purpose. He said it.
I know, but also, like, and how much was he impacted by potentially using steroids? Was he in the mix as one of the guys as well? His numbers, though, overall, I mean, they don't lie. This is on MLB.com. When you look at the history, his career overall, he had, let me see here, to fall in this category of 7,500 plus at bats. Let me see here. Okay, since 1900, 9,493 guys have received 100 plate appearances. To be good enough to stick around for 7,500 plate appearances and walk more than strike out, as Sheffield did, accounts for barely more than 1% of all ball players during that span. Plus, his other numbers are amazing as well.